Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Quantum Show. Hold on. Sorry, I had some feedback there. Welcome back to the Quantum Show. Uh, what can I say? When the ghosts reach out, they use everything they can. And I had something happen the other day. I got date and time recorded in a picture. This was so cool. Hey, everybody coming in the chat room. Rachel Andrews Flick, OB2, Renee Andrews, Aussie Tiger, Operation Shutdown. Who else? Robot Jim, Sarah, and Tim. I know is in the background listening. So, yeah, I think that is everybody for right now. People are coming in. Yeah, I'm not talking. I may talk about aliens tonight. If it is related, it's always related. So, yeah, weird stuff. Got all right. Good sound is good. Good deal. There may be a little bit of background noise, but hey, Joe, everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Like I said, so yeah, here's what happened. Okay, I am not married anymore. I'm divorced, working on it, right? And okay, well, her mom passed away last week. Sadly, tragically, it wasn't. It was she was ill. She didn't know it. Okay, but here's what she calls me that day when she finds out, and she said, and she just, and I was like, oh no, I comforted her a little bit, but she was making plans at that point. And then later that night, she called me again, and of course, I'm comforting her again, and to get her in better spirits, get her laughing because she's better when she laughs, right? We all are. And uh, well, I was telling a joke about some silly stuff that happened while we were together, and some stuff about her son and what he named his kid. And I made a joke. He's a big nerd, and we were laughing, and then we heard another laugh on the line. I am a skeptic, and okay, I'm a skeptic. There are three things that happened, two verifiable. One, I heard laughing over our laughing. We were laughing. There was another voice on the line laughing. And then I looked down at some point and saw that the the time of the call was clicking along, but the time on the clocks, one clock, they were out of sync. Now, as we all know, the clock on a phone is hardwired into the clock. You don't have to have server talking, right? But it's like if the clock stops working, the phone breaks, right? And my phone was not broken. It's still not broken. It's still working. It's sitting right there, right? So here's the picture that I got showing the time difference, and look at the time it showed. 11:11. Those are very good numbers. Look at the actual time. Now, that right there, can everyone see the time and the difference? Okay? I'm trying to show it as best I can. So, there is no coincidence there, right? That okay, yeah, we had been talking for a few minutes, and I noticed just at one point it was 11:11, and then the phone clock got hung on 11:11 the whole time we were on. And the time, now I took a picture of the computer screen to show the difference. So I'm so happy that I was able to get a picture between real time and the time that was stuck on the phone screen. Now, as soon as I hung up, I had texted and I had changed windows, whatever, but the clock on the phone never. And I was like, well, that's a very not so random glitch, especially 11:11. Well, 11:45 is when I noticed it. Actually, it was 11:44 because I got several pictures of it. It kept going. And 11:45 is when I noticed it, or 11:44. And then 11:45 is when I took this picture because it had work stuff in the background and I didn't want to show work stuff, but I was able to get this picture. And yeah, this is the complete picture. I was on the phone with her for a while because, that's pretty messed up when you got to talk about that stuff, right? And I was like, wait a minute, this is seeming less and less coincidental. And then, now those are the two things I can verify. The other thing, she was using speakerphone. Her phone was on a table. She said her phone started moving. We have all seen that. Hey, Dorothy, I hope you get to feeling better. I saw you in the other show over at Richie's show. Get to feeling better. Yeah, we're talking spirit communication, because it happened again. And this is not the first time, not with the first time with her. It happened with her too. The time before that. And yeah, that happened. And I'm still kind of tripping over it. I'm much calmer now, but that is one of the best stories. And I got a picture of it. I got several pictures. I just can't put them all on the internet because I got work crap on them. But I got pictures. That's awesome. I love when I can get a picture of this stuff. So, yeah, you got to pay attention, right? When you're paying attention, you will see things. And when I have an open mind about this stuff. A lot of people do not. My coworker, he thinks I have I'm off my rocker. He just thinks that all I want to do is talk about aliens and, in his mind, flat Earth. And I'm like, no, not at all. But aliens, sure. But it's not all aliens. Sometimes it's ghosts. And oh man, I might end up telling the cemetery story again tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But this was such a cool picture to get. I can now say, look at what happened to me. And a ghost was on the line, listening, laughing at the jokes. It was so awesome. I loved it. Okay, that's that for that. I will be posting that somewhere, Facebook, Instagram, somewhere. It's all my links are in the description. I need to do a link tree. And yeah, so shout out. Let me see here. What do we got? Aussie Tiger. I think it's, yeah, Aussie Tiger is turning 39 today. Is 39 today. Happy birthday, Aussie. Thanks for being here on your birthday. I'm not going to sing it, right? But happy shout out, Aussie Tiger, Aussie Boss, and Tim and Sarah Stafford. We got Sarah Stafford over here, and Tim are celebrating their 10-year wedding anniversary on Monday. Shout out Tim and Sarah. And Dorothy is joining us. I'm glad you're feeling better. I hope you get to even better, right? And yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, Joe, that is very weird. You're hearing another laugh while on the phone. It may be coming from a different frequency. I don't know. See, at first I wrote it off as a copy, as an echo, but it wasn't quite my voice and it wasn't in perfect sync, right? And the phone I was recording was not an iPhone. Just for clarity, it was an Android, and the iPhone was taking the picture. So yeah, it is very weird, but it's happened before. See, I was a couple of years ago, I had just started doing spirit guide stuff. It was like right after I had been talking to this guide, Xena, okay? And I was talking to my ex. We're okay, right? I was talking to her, and I was thinking maybe she could. I was just thinking it. Maybe she could go over there, and I started relaying this to her, and I said, "Hey, do you think I could ask her to come over there and do and details?" And I jokingly, like, I'm literally, let me just do it. I'm literally, "Hey, do you think I could do this?" And I go like this. You getting all this? And we both hear on the line, "Yep." I was like, "What? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?" And that was so cool that it's never left me, and it is one of my main stories that I can, like, it happened. I don't care. It wasn't recorded, but this stuff happens so quick. Like, how long does it take to say, "Yep"? Now, it was either spirit guide or FBI agent. Either or, right? Really cool. Love it. And yeah, I am no stranger to ghost stuff happening to me, around me, to other people, and nobody wants to talk to me about it. I have mostly work friends, and nobody wants to talk to me about it. My sister and I can talk about this stuff all the time. She gets a little spooked out about it. She's nervous, but she's newer to this stuff than I am. I've been looking and seeing and stuff. Hey, Bonnie, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Uh, for a long, long time. This has been happening forever to me. And uh yeah, it's just now it's not real, it's not scary at all, unless it's a very unless it's trying to be scary. But I tend to refuse the fear, right? I don't really go ghost hunting because I don't look at them as spectacles. I feel they're just people doing what they do. Either they don't know any better, they're stuck. I don't know how to move them over, right? Or they just want to be left alone, or they want something in their environment, whatever it is, like the cemetery. They don't want us there at night. And oh, Dorothy, yeah. Yeah, Dorothy. Lots of spirit signs. Her mom had just passed away. That was the date. It was 6 days ago now. They went to the funeral. They went, it was out of country. So, hey, Diane, welcome to the Quantum Show, talking ghost stuff. And, well, everything is, the dust is settling. Okay. The dust is settling, and everybody was very nice, given the situation. So, yeah, but I don't believe any of us are strangers to things ghostly happening to us. Be it some things that people have reported I've never seen, right? Handprints on a mirror in steam. I've never seen that. It would be cool to see that. I've never had, oh, that's like literally the only thing that I have not experienced, okay? And everything else has happened here or somewhere, but I have been there to witness it, and I don't tune these things out. Most people tune these things out because they can't understand it, and they try to make sense of it, and it makes no sense. Okay, voices in the other room, right? Seeing something out of the corner of your eye. Now there's something here, right? The corner of your eye. That is a scientifically explored topic, right? Now, what they've done is when your peripheral vision, okay, when you're looking through your peripheral, you're not really, you're tuning it out like background noise, okay, and you're not looking at the part directly, right? The part of your brain working on it is, now this is science, okay? The part, your conscious brain is working on whatever you're dealing with, okay? If you're dealing with something like this, you're not looking at what's going on to the side so much. It's being picked up. It's not being processed the same way it's being processed here. You know what you're doing in your fore vision, I guess. So, hey, Raven, welcome back to the Quantum Show. And okay, but your peripheral vision is also picking up stuff. Now, while you're focusing on whatever you're doing, this is being looked at differently. You don't have the same bias looking at this as you do when you see something out of the corner of your eye. So, another something that happened with me here that I saw, okay, was I was putting boxes in the room. We were just moving in. I was just moving in. I was stacking boxes in the room. I was stacking box, and I was about to walk out when I saw something out of the corner of my eye. It was someone who lived here before. By the way, I believe they're still here, and they do what they do. They're okay. Right. Joe's saying, yes, you're speaking of cemeteries at night, and it's still winter here. I won't go near it at night. Still, me neither. They don't like it. Just don't. Everybody, a warning for me and Joe Stewart. Don't go into cemeteries at night. You're asking for trouble. Okay. And let me tell you, haunted is haunted. It's going to be haunted all day as well as all night. It's just, why do things seem more haunted at night? Because our minds are not so busy. Our minds, with our day-night awareness, our circadian rhythms, we tend to calm down at night. And we don't process as much. Our peripheral, we begin to relax. Our peripheral becomes more acute, more aware to our forethinking brain, right? This is science. I need to have a link for this. I need to get a link for this. Link will be in something later, maybe during the panel. Okay, there will be a panel, and right. Okay, now here, you're sleeping in a graveyard. You're not partying. You're not being bad about stuff, right? You're not disturbing anyone. So you can think of all them as sleeping. At night, there are people that are now just in a different state. And circadian rhythms seem to follow us to the other side. Saying, when I used to go riding for weeks on end on my motorcycle, I always slept in graveyards. People leave you alone in them. Yeah. You are not causing a problem. They won't give you no crap. The residents, they will not hurt you. They will not bother you. So yeah, that's a good place to spend time. Quietly, stay quiet. And you're not going to get a lot of activity unless you're bothering them. If you're going in and looking for ghosts and you got things beeping and lights blaring, you'll probably catch something. Okay. And yeah, the other people are drunks or idiots, right? They're going. The night I went into the cemetery with Adana, I was an idiot. I would like to hear about this, Raven, in the panel. I would like to hear about it. I would like to see. I would like to hear about it. We'll discuss it. Don't forget, okay? And yeah, at the time, I was practically being an idiot. I shouldn't have gone there at night. Going during the day, no problem. Nobody. I have to actually take myself down from being so awake, excited during the day to go back there. I no longer get freaky feelings, only at night, because they don't want you back there at night. They're trying to chill. And yeah, I went back there with her, and well, they came out. They came and they took her, and the other guys brought her back. It was, to this day, of all the stuff, even the stuff with the phone, it is the craziest thing that I've ever had happen. Oh man, I'm starting to remember it. But yeah, the craziest thing that I've ever had happen, and being approached by one, right? By a hellhound. You weren't being. Was it a black dog? Well, you know what? We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the panel. I'll get you to say words, not through me, right? You can talk about it firsthand. So yeah, that and so the phone thing happened. It was so cool. I love when that stuff happened. And there's a visual element. This picture, I love when I you can never get things on screen. You can never catch an instance of something happening. When the phone clock freezes, your phone stops working. Okay, it's one of those core processes. It froze at 11:11, and those are very, very good, very poignant numbers. So not all, and this was kind of low key as far as ghost spiritual activity goes, right? This was kind of low key. There was no full body apparition. There was no loud bangs, or I don't mean something like that's not to me. That's not a loud bang. See how easy I did that? That's not too hard. What happened here was one night in the first little while that we were here, and I heard smash. It sounded like a box full of silverware and a junk drawer, right? It's or mostly metal. Smash. It sounded like a box full of junk. And I'm like, it's loud enough to, and I walk out. Nobody heard anything. There was nothing fell over. I hadn't cleaned this other room out yet. So this was like 5 years ago. This was over 5 years ago. I hadn't cleaned this room out yet. And it was nothing. There was nothing. Me and two other people that I have had here. The door is right here, the door, my bedroom door is right here. And I usually keep it open, except for show times, right? I usually keep it open because there's nobody here want to look in anyway, so whatever. And every time, and the people who come here, I let them use the computer if they want to check email or whatever, just friends, or they're sitting in because I got the best chair in the house. They always see something moving down here. One person said it was a cat. One person just said they saw movement. I all the time see movement down here, all the time. And I'm surprised with all these robots I got standing up over here. I'm surprised none of them have done anything, but I did have something. This guy. I did have something. This was cool. Now, I believe this was the little kid that did this. I do toys, and I used to be really super into it, right? And I do customs. And I had this guy. Can you see him? Alien, xenomorph. I painted him up. This is ultra black paint, and it's not so ultra black now because it degrades over time. Okay. And you can see where the joints are, and it's not so great. But I painted him, and he had been. I put him in front of the printer case over there. Okay, I put him in front of the printer case, and it had been there. Now the paint kind of stiffens up the joints, so it can't fall over by accident, right? Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Thanks. I spent that's like 5 coats of paint on that thing, man. And I did the teeth in silver. Everybody wants to do the teeth in red or gold. I'm like, they're silver, but whatever. And now I've got all these. At the time I had more. Now I have all these action figures sitting over, okay, and that xenomorph against. I mean, it's literally leaning. It can't fall over. Now, the kid either really liked it and wanted to play with it, or really didn't like it and wanted it gone. Because, yeah, well, this is a pretty scary looking thing when you look at it, okay? It can be a pretty scary thing, and especially if it's eye level to you. So I think that he didn't care for this one too much. He liked dolls. And yeah, I think somebody told him to go on because he's still here, but he doesn't do anything, right? Since I realized he was here and I started talking to him directly, I don't hear anything back. Not the way you would hear, right? That he has stopped messing with stuff, but he still picks up a toy every now and again because I'm hearing noises all over the place. He doesn't care much for robots. He loves dolls of strong women. The boss here is a strong woman ghost. Call her the matriarch. She's come around here twice that I'm aware of. And yeah, no wonder he likes strong women. I even went through a phase. I was buying all the wrestler women and all the ones that not baby dolls, but wrestler women. I got. It was a bunch of Princess Leia's, whatever the wrestler people are, right? I just all of a sudden got an affinity for this. And then when Tim came over, not our Tim here, but Shingoji came over, he saw everything. He's a ghost whisperer. He saw everything, and he told me there's a kid here, and he likes the dolls, and he plays with them in spirit. If you know if you know, right? So he would come around and pick up something every now and again. I think actually he wants me to dig those wrestler dolls back out because there's been a lot of noise over in that side, and that's where they are. And okay, Joe is saying there's been some nights, but not often, at night in cemetery looking out upstairs, military helicopters flying all around cemetery here, but not lately. Well, I get you, upstairs window. Cemeteries are portal places, okay? People are buried there. A funeral is a quantum signpost, okay? You put enough energy in a spot, it's gonna do weird things, right? And cemeteries tend to make portals. They're portal places. I still have the oh yeah, quantum level. Welcome back, woo. Heck yeah, quantum level is rising. And okay, when you add more energy, when I went back there with Adana, oh, here we go. She just wanted to go back there at 3 a.m. The best or worst time to go to a place, right? And the cemetery, oh man, here we go. Yep. The cemetery has a past, right? This is Revolutionary War area, not so much Civil War. Of course, everybody did. I'm getting the light over here. Aussie Boss is saying, please like and subscribe, and like, share, and subscribe. If you're here, you are quantum. I forgot to say it. Thank you for that. Hey, Aaron, welcome to the Quantum Show. I don't remember seeing you here before, but if I am forgetting, welcome back. Talking ghost communication and, well, ghost stuff. Aliens could play a part of it because there's always a nice little intersect with what is that girl's name? See, I didn't think to get her name, and I haven't had much coffee tonight. She is a spirit talk. She's a, what is her name? She's always talking about talking to her ghosts. And I'll remember it. But anyway, spirits and aliens do intersect. They don't want to talk about each other, right? The aliens don't care to talk about the spirits, and the ghosts For some reason, they're not allowed to. They're aware of them, but they're not allowed to tell us. And the Ghost Guide, Rebecca the Ghost Guide, link will be in the description after the show. And Sarah is saying, oh, okay. We have an elderly lady ghost that lives in our kitchen, and if we don't tidy up quick enough, she gets angry and slams the cabinet doors loudly. Yeah, love it. If I leave the ice tray out in my kitchen, the guy was a cook. He don't like the ice tray being left out. He'll bang it around. And you know how bangy those things are. Yeah, they are particular about things, for sure. And okay, but to the cemetery story. Fuck it, here I am. Right there's my F-bomb for the night. She wanted to go visit at 3:00 in the morning, so I was like, "Ain't nobody gonna be back there." I wasn't thinking spiritually, and it was there was a good amount of foliage still. It wasn't completely fall, so I said, "Okay, let's go." It's super bright, full moon. Ultra full moon, really bright. I had my flashlight, didn't even use it, okay, until later. We go in, we're looking around, we're feeling around. She's a new pagan practitioner at the time. We go, we're looking around, and we get to the halfway point. And that's when things get blurry and darker. Only around us it got darker. The moon stayed the same brightness. I don't know how that works. Okay. If I had an explanation, I'd tell you, but it got darker around us and it got super blurry. Okay. And I got a fight or flight fear come over me out of nowhere. It's not even dark. Okay. It's not even dark. And I got this fight or flight fear just take over. And I'm standing on the side, and the front of it is to my right. The rear of the cemetery, less kept up, is to my left. She is maybe 6 steps away from me, 6 good steps. And I tell her, "Hey, Atana, do you feel that?" And I swear she says something. Okay. It was scrambled. It came to me as nonsense. That's what it sounded like. Okay. It sounded like almost electronic, but it wasn't electronic. It was definitely not electronic, but it sounded like how the Death Troopers in Star Wars sound when they're talking with their scramblers on. Almost like that, but not electronic. It was I was like, what? And then she took another step and she vanished. She was gone. Okay. Oh, I'm starting to get chills again. And I was like, and I look, not only it's blurry now, where she went is black. You can't see nothing. Okay. And it's still a full moon. I'm remembering this stuff. You had to be there. And then I'm like, what, Adana? I'm like speaking out to her because it's super quiet. Okay. I see movement out of my peripheral vision. Logic mind says it's a plastic bag. The wind's blowing a tree. There's no wind. It's something explainable. I look over. There's a figure, invisible. Looks like the predator. A human outline, like if you saw the hand like this, it would be blurry around the edge. Okay, it would be blurry around the edge over the whole body, and it is moving across. It's up against the fence over there, moving across. Okay, and I'm like, what? And more movement. Another one just is there. It moves across. I'm just watching. Okay, I am spellbound at this point. This weird fear has come over me from nowhere. And I'm just watching, and I see more movement. And I take one step back, and a third one comes right up to me. Right up to me. He's tall. Okay. Hey, Wayne, welcome. Perfect timing. This dude comes up to me, and he's tall. And I hear in my head, you stay right here. But he's yelling, you stay right here. There's nothing like that. Okay. Words appearing in your head that aren't yours. That is a level of weirdness you will never copy with anything. Okay. I don't care if you got them skull earbuds. It's not like that. It is and all I did was like, I'm looking up at through this thing. I'm seeing the outline of, he's like right here. Okay. And all I do, and I understand the message. I'm like, yes, sir. I'm like, now the other two are already gone. They walk totally across into the pitch black. This guy moves into the pitch black. I am alone in the woods in a cemetery. I'm looking around, blurry to my right and dark, pitch black to my left. Okay. This was and then I remembered something I had heard on Spaced Out Radio a long time ago. When Dave had some kind of an encounter with a friend of his, she took him to meet these aliens. The first thing that they said, "Do you want to go with me?" And he said no. And the girl said, "I want to go." And the first thing that went through his head was, if I leave this forest alone, I'm going to be locked up for murder. That's what went through my head. If I leave out of here alone, I'm going to be locked up. They're going to bust me for murder because this girl's gone. Okay. She was gone. I switched gears. Fear turned off. And I'm like, save Adana. Fear turns off. Something's ringing a bell this whole time, right? Something looks familiar this whole time. But I'm like, switching gears. I don't care about the fear at this point. And it's still there. The physical sensation is still there. Whew. Oh boy. But I'm in rescue mode now. I'm hunting her down. And now I have a new resolve. And all of a sudden I hear, now I don't see her anywhere. Okay. I'm looking, it's black over here. I'm starting to be able to see the moonlit cow field through some trees a little bit, not much. Really bright moon. I mean, dusk like light coming from the moon, that kind of bright. I hear a footstep with crunching leaves or foliage. And she just pops back into existence right in front of me. And she's just unaware of anything that's happened, apparently. And I go, Adana, we gotta go. We gotta leave now. And she's like still taking her time. And I'm like, Adana, we gotta go. And I hurry her out of there. But on the way, now it's a cemetery. It's a very well kept up cemetery. She's holding some a necklace she made, Dollar Tree stuff, charms, beads on nylon string, right? It breaks. No reason for it to have broken. I mean, it is like snap and all the stuff goes on the ground. And she goes, hey, Nathan, where's your light? She bends down. I don't know what has happened, right? My necklace broke. And I'm looking around. There's nothing for it to hang on. There's nothing to cut through nylon string. Like, I even have some, right? Nylon string. Like what you use pendants put with pendants and things, right? Very tough, very rugged. It snapped. This was not no cotton string or nothing. And we get it, and I start to feel watched. Okay. We get out of there. I'm freaked out. But I'm not used to being freaked out like this. So I'm like calm, still freaked out, but I'm like, I got no reason to feel this way. So I'm like kind of ignoring it and still shaking and stuff. I asked her, what happened? She couldn't answer me for 3 weeks. She had no words for 3 weeks. All she said that night was, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of hate. And I'm like, or a lot of anger. Here's the reason, right? That is Revolutionary War. This whole area, that family that is buried back there, they're still here, okay? But they didn't. Now, they buried. I don't agree with the mindset from back then, okay? They buried their slaves with the owners, with the families. That was illegal, okay? It was big hush hush. And they put the slaves in the back on mostly unmarked graves, but there was always something, a rock, a post, something, okay? In the front, it's very nice and well kept, very ornate, very carved, everything. You've seen the videos of it back there, okay? But not in the back. And that's the only thing she said. Oh, and in 3 weeks, she said she saw a hat on the ground. There's no hats back there. Nobody goes. I go back there. Nobody goes back there. And that the ground seemed to be pulling her feet into it. And I explained to her what I saw, what I went through. She still has not talked to me about that, right? Still. And I tried to reach out to her the other day, and I haven't gotten a response back. Maybe she moved. I don't know. It's just one of those things. People move, right? And that's the calmest I've ever been telling that story, because y'all, I've seen some really weird stuff. That is above all the weirdest thing I have ever seen with eyes. Not just felt weird, seen it. I saw it. No, I didn't record anything. This was not that kind of a trip. She just wanted to visit, which was a bad idea at 3 a.m. Okay. Oh, okay. So there's the retelling of the cemetery story. Oh my God. The weirdest part was it got in my face. That is the weirdest part. And that is what's making me do all this stuff right here. I'm getting chills so bad. Okay. Don't need it. Hey, Intergalactic Angler, welcome back to the Quantum Show. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, portals. Joe's saying that is very interesting. I did not know that about the portal place thing. There's a portal opening up. They're never closed. They're just not as open as before. It's possibly why military helicopters flying around cemetery at night. Wow, maybe there could be a bunch of reasons why, right? But that's a good enough reason. And I was talking about, it's hard to explain about voices being put in your head. Wayne knows. Yeah. Wayne's seen some shit too. Wayne has seen it too. I don't know if it's Wayne or Michelle here, but they both know about that stuff, right? And hey, Wayne and Michelle are teachers. Shout out, teachers. I'm surprised you're here because, well, no school tomorrow, right? Okay, cool. Keep a lookout in the hallways and stuff for always watch for haunted stuff, and always watch for aliens. You know, I see them a lot too. And yeah, saying it's Wayne. Okay. There are parts of the earth that have different energy and frequency. Yeah, I've noticed that too. There's a lot of places that have quartz deposits that have stuff happen. And then there's other places that have negative frequencies, not negative bad, but just on the on the frequency spectrum, it's more in the negative than in the positive. The things happen there too. Ley lines are another thing, and that makes the veil thin. I don't know how else to put it. If anybody has a better idea, great. Ley lines, you know, the ancient people knew what ley lines were. They didn't write about it. They built their buildings there. Stonehenge is on a ley line. The pyramids are on a ley line. Nazca is in line with something. Okay, all those places are on ley lines, and they've been mapped out. I will have to get a picture at some point. But yeah, and watch the schools. There's a school in El Paso. By the way, everything here is haunted. Gower Elementary, totally haunted. I just haven't investigated yet because it's active and they don't want me in there. But there is, I think it's Thomas Jefferson Memorial High in El Paso. And there was a security guard calling coast to coast saying there's ghosts there. And he got him talking. I went there. I felt it. I didn't see nothing. It was daytime. I felt it. There is some kind of Civil War general fighting another. They both died in the battle, right? They both died in the battle or shortly after. I forget who they were, but Santa Ana comes to mind, but I don't think it was Santa Ana. But there were two generals fighting where that school now sits. And kids would go in there over the fence, through the fence, whatever, and just go and mess around, just have their parties or whatever, leave garbage. And they would get busted by the security guard. The security guard called him and says, hey, yeah, I busted some kids in here. I got them talking. They said, yeah, they saw my partner. And he's like, what? We saw your partner. And apparently these kids didn't go to this school. They go, yeah, that guy in the picture, that guy's been dead for 150 years. And they all freaked. And they were all, so cool. And yeah, that's just, ghost stuff is everywhere. You can see ghost stuff a lot more common than alien stuff. Okay. And most of it is not scary. It's just mundane things that they do. But there's a lot that goes on, right? Like this whole place, like I said, this whole place is haunted. And well, I happen to have a big creek right over here. I'm near a river right over there. It's a branch off the creek, right? And there has always been people here, always been some kind of conflict up until the Civil War. Now there are two Civil War, by the way, those three guys that I saw out there, there are three soldiers back there. One from the Revolution, two from the Civil War. No battle spot here, right? But they were from here. And I don't remember their names. It's documented out there. It's documented online by Friends of Gower Cemetery. It's I believe it's a Facebook group, but I don't remember. But yeah, that's just some of the ghost stuff that this is just so crazy. But that I got Wayne, since you're here, did you see the picture? I was on, let me go ahead, I'll go over it again. Okay. Too easy. Now, what you're looking at is my phone and the phone at my computer. Okay. You came in late. Okay. Well, I will go over it again. This was cool. This is an easy one. My ex-wife's mom passed away last week on the 2nd. Okay. She called me that night at work and I was trying to comfort her. And she was sad. So I talked about funny stuff that happened to us when we were living together, right? We're okay. We're on good terms. And kid come up with a nerdy name for his son, and I said, "What's his? He's just so nerdy." And I was like, "What is his middle name going to be? Van Helsing Wolverine?" And I laughed. She laughed, and I heard another laugh on the phone line. It wasn't my voice or hers, and it wasn't I chalked it off as a mirror sound, an echo of my own voice or her voice. So I was like, whatever. Then I noticed the phone was stuck on 1111. That's one of those numbers, a repeating number, all ones, right? That's a mystical number. It just is. All the repeating sequential or sequential, they're all significant to something. Okay. This stayed on the phone. Check it out, for that long. It was 40 minutes. I only noticed it a minute before, but it stayed on there the whole time. I got like 5 shots of it. Okay. It was so cool. And heard the voice, saw it was stuck. It was hung. I had time to take a whole spread of pictures. I had to edit it down to this because it was a work computer and there was stuff on the screen, right? But it stayed there until we hung up, and it went back to the correct time. And I talked to her for over 40 minutes. Now, if this was, I cannot explain it, right? But phone clocks don't mess up. Yeah, right. It is a good number. It's a very good number. Okay. And it was right there. This was not a sad time. It let me take a spread of pictures, and I was talking to her about it, and I was like, did you know this? Phones, when the phone clock breaks, your phone breaks. It is inherent. It is built into the system. It doesn't need a server to talk to you. You set the time, it will go with that time until it talks to a server. But if the server disconnects the phone server, the time server, it keeps going. It's a clock. So if it breaks, the phone breaks. I was actively talking, right? And then after the call or during the call, she said that she was on speakerphone while she was doing something, and the phone was moving around on the table. I'm like, yeah, that's the only thing I cannot personally verify. I can verify the voice, and I got a picture of the time. Okay, now I could be mistaken about the clock on the phone being like bulletproof, but what are the odds of it getting stuck on 1111? And it's just the odds against that are literally astronomical. Okay, of the whole time. And I had been, now if it had, let's do some math here. I've been on the phone for 41 minutes. The clock on the wall says 11:45. Let's say 41. Well, where does 11:11 come from? Right? It's a difference of 4 minutes. That doesn't add up. Right? Dude, I've had a lot of pics on my phone waking up at 3:33 a.m. And when I happen to check my phone at school, it's 3:33. A lot. Yeah. I see a lot of that stuff too. The repeating numbers and sequential numbers. There's always something there for you. When they happen, I become hyper aware. I'm like, what's going on that I need to pay attention to? And if there's nothing in my immediate vicinity, I start thinking, what's going on? A situation that I'm a part of. What do I need to pay attention to? I really do. I do this all the time. Rachel is saying, I've had several ghost experiences. Thank goodness not in a cemetery. Could be worse. It could be worse, right? I had one person say I've collected stories. I don't like to relay other people's stories, but I was working in a hospital, and across the river was another hospital. I was at the expensive one, and they were at the state hospital. And I heard that they had someone had passed away in the ER. That kind of thing happens all the time, right? So they said that they passed away. They had already covered the body, started the paperwork. They were gone. He was in the ER laying down. The nurse was in there doing paperwork. The body. Now, if this was just a twitch, it would be electrical interference. They told me, now I don't know if this is true, this body got up onto its feet, took one step, and fell over toward that nurse. It was a great story. It was a great story to hear. I'm going to go ahead. This is my visual evidence that I was, and all I got is a story. I didn't video anything. There's not really anything to video. Okay. Right. Yeah. Well, let me go back a little bit further. When he's saying 555 happens less, but enough to notice. Yeah. I have all the repeating numbers come up, right? And Sarah and I have an affinity for several numbers, especially 23s. That's a good number. 23 is an interesting number. 23s, yeah. I'll look at that later. And Monty is saying the odds of your phone's clock getting stuck at exactly 11:11 by random chance are 1 in 1,000. Okay, not astronomical, right? But still quite rare. Thank you. I do appreciate that. This doesn't sound like a statistic. Sounds like you used an app for that. But thanks. Yeah, it is quite rare. Less than a 1/10 of a, what do you say? 0.069. That's 0.0694%. So basically 0.07. 7 chances out of 100 for it to be 11:11. And the odds are not quite astronomical. Okay. And here we go. Wayne is saying, I worked in a print shop and we had a worker, an older guy, pass away between our huge paper rolls. Oh, I saw him one night. He was working till midnight and asked who the new guy was. It was the guy who had passed. Yep. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen anything like that yet. I'm watching for it. And right, and about my story of the person standing up. I worked in a hospital for quite a while. The body sometimes doesn't get the memo, and the last instruction of the brain gives, the body will try to obey. Well, we're talking like move arm, blink face, or a blink eye, turn head, not a complicated move like stand up out of a bed and take a step. That's pretty complicated. Okay. So, yeah, but yeah, you're right. Sometimes the body gets those electrical impulses through somehow, right? Electrical interference. But not get up, stand up, take a step, and reach out. That's a very complicated, complex set of instructions. And let's see here. I'm looking at. Wayne is taking it a step further. Yep. Love it. Hey, Samo. Welcome back to the Quantum Show. And yeah. I don't talk to them unless they watch the show, and I doubt they watch the show. But no, I'm not going to talk to them at all. They will not let me investigate the church. I've asked. I'm like, hey, can I go in the church at night? No, we don't want anybody in the church at night. I'm like, okay. Even if I'm trying to take care of it, I didn't tell them I wanted a ghost like hunt it, because that place is, it's haunted too. And he's talking about the guy in the print factory. He would disappear. Yep. Yeah, standing up is real complicated for a set of instructions to be there, right? And another thing that happened right here in this place that wasn't, it was at the church. Okay. I was walking and checked the mail. It was like 4 a.m. or maybe it was 6 p.m. Whatever. It was dusk or dawn. It wasn't daylight. It was probably dusk. Now the church has a stairway going down the side of it on the driveway side. It's like on the side I'm going on. It has a door with a little landing, like a little porch. It was added on, and steps going down. I was walking by. I thought I saw a movement. Now, this is not too long after the cemetery incident, right? I thought I saw a movement. I look over. Now, logic brain said, there's no movement. There's nothing up there, or it's a trick of the light or reflection off the door or whatever. There was a figure standing there. It was dark. I mean, it was black. It was fuzzy around. Not like there. This is more like shadow person. Okay. Stairway to hell. Maybe. I don't know. But I look over and I'm like, it's dark. Okay. Not nighttime, but mostly dark. I'm like, okay, of course I get chills. I'm out in the woods at night by a haunted church. You're gonna get chills. I walk over, I look, I see a figure standing there at the top of the steps, apparently watching me. I'm like, I look again. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna see a shadow from something, from the street light, or it was still there. Full on looked at this thing. It stayed there, and it was watching me from the top of them steps. It was so cool. Of course I got creeped out. I'm not going to run away. I got to live here, right? Oh, by the way, follow up to the cemetery incidents. I got to live here. Just said it. What I had to do. Now, I don't have a lot of time. So I went back a week later, and all week I've been like, how can I appease these guys? I got to live here. How can I make friends with them again? I'm like, well, who were these people? And I go to ancient Egypt. Well, they like golden jewels. I don't got no golden jewels. But wait a minute, those were gods or whatever. And priests. Who am I dealing with? They're farmers. They're country people. I'm country people. What would they like? Well, what do I like? Biscuits and gravy. So one early morning, like 7:30, 8 o'clock, I go down to Waffle House and I get 6 plates of freaking biscuits and gravy. Okay. I get 6 servings of biscuits and gravy. I'm carrying this stuff to the cemetery. I'm putting it down and I do a speech. I don't know what you would call it, right? But I'm like, hey, I'm sorry about the other day. My friend was being an idiot, and I went through and I apologized. I said, this is for you. Hope we can just be good neighbors. And I did it in the front and I did it in the back because there are 2 different crowds back there. Okay. It was a cold welcome back. Yeah, this was the reparation that I had to do. And let me tell you, when I walked in there, I hadn't said nothing to nobody, right? It's daytime. I get this feeling of, oh, it's this guy. So he's here to cause trouble. Just ignore him if you can, type of attitude, right? And I say my piece, and I say, I'm gonna pick up the dishes later, and I do the same thing in the back. right? That was the feeling I got. Oh, great. It's this guy. Annoyance. Not anger, annoyance. I started feeling anger when I went to the back. But I did the same thing. I'm like, hey, it happened a long time ago. I didn't know you guys were back here. And I just, I made the offering. I'm like, I brought you this. I took them forks and knives and plates, and I didn't make no coffee, right? But I did two little, and I said, thanks. I hope you accept this. I'm sorry. I apologize. My friend was an idiot. And I told I'll come back for the dishes later. And I left. When I left, the feeling of annoyance and anger was gone. It was happy and gratitude and appreciation, right? There was no more anger, and I did a food offering, and it worked. Everybody, no coffee. I didn't make coffee for him this time. So yeah, well, everybody, this has been the Quantum Show, Ghost Communication, this time on a cell phone. Thanks, everybody. It's been an hour. I need coffee. I didn't even start with coffee, but I need coffee now. Coffee now. And Aussie is, there you go. There's the red light. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Again, thanks for being here for the Quantum Show. Talk about ghost communication and a story of the cemetery. I didn't know I was going to tell it. I think about the guy in my face, and I still get that. It doesn't matter. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Samo. Appreciate it. So I am out. Panel coming in 20, 30 minutes. You know the deal. If you can be here, great. If you can't, Raven's coming on talking about the hellhound that approached her, and I want to hear about it. A link will be sent, so watch for it. Thanks, everybody. It's coffee time, and now, where's my little banner thing? I've got to go push buttons. Okay, I'm pushing buttons. And thank you, Wayne. And if you can come to the looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, it's coffee time. I need to get out of here. I'm over time. Aussie is flashing the red light at me now, so I should get a flashing red light. I'm like, this is a sign from Aussie. Get out. I'm out. Pushing buttons out of here. Keeping it quantum. Keeping it ghostly, but still keeping it quantum. Out of here. Bye-bye.